Rosas, account number 901354705. Alfred S. Vergara, account number 90135470998. And Enrico T. Vasquez, account number 90135471156. That is my motion, Mr. President. Mr. Chairman.
Senator Osmena?
I second the motion, Mr. Chair.
The motion has been seconded. Are there any objections?
Let me take a
Minority Floor Leader?
position. This is a very major policy question. You know, our government has adopted a general banking policy that protects the depositors of this country. Now, the purpose is very clear that we cannot open these accounts except the authority granted by law, granted by us. Only on those grounds can you open those accounts. From the point of view of the bank that opened these accounts, at the time they were opened, they complied with all the requirements of validity of opening the accounts. Somebody now used them for an illegal purpose. That's given. But it is not within the jurisdiction of this legislative house or committee to determine the illicitness of those accounts. It is not within our authority under the Constitution. It is under the authority of the judicial department of this government, and only they can determine whether they will lift the secrecy according to the grounds specified by the law. If we are going to compel anybody here by our coercive powers to require them to violate the law that we so imposed upon the general public, what value will be those documents when the litigation will come? They cannot be presented as evidence. They are brought to the public by duress. It's a rule of evidence that a court cannot accept any evidence that is taken by duress. So that's my position. I think we better think about this very carefully because we are legislators, we are not judges.
May I respond?
Senator Osmena.
I just would like to direct some clarificatory questions at our colleague, if he so pleases. You said that these accounts had been validly opened and all requirements had been met when the accounts were opened. No, that's what you said.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Could you tell me who opened the accounts?
Well, according to the
Could
records,
anybody here tell us who opened the accounts?
the accounts were opened according to the records.
The accounts were opened by the bank manager.
Picache, Vergara, Vasquez, Cruz,
But they don't exist.
Rosa.
But Mr. Senator, they do not exist.
Huh?
These personalities, these persons do not exist, and they've been admitted. As a matter of fact, RCBC.
How do we know that they do not exist?
RCBC said that you've been able to trace.
We better ask the registry
You've
of
been
deaths
able
if these
to
people
trace
are already dead or they
that
were never been born.
Two, you've been able to identify. Let me ask RCBC, have you been able to identify the people in the pictures?
Your Honor, because bank secrecy applies squarely, we cannot answer that, but we have submitted all required reports to the AMLC and to the BSP, Your Honor.
Amla, can you answer that? Because I read in an article, and I'm sorry I didn't clip the article, that RCBC confirmed the identity of two people in the photos, and they were the legmen of Maia De Guito, working at the bank. In other words, Peke, do you have that information, Ms. Abad?
Yes, Your Honor. We conducted our own investigation, and based on the customer identification documents that we obtained from RCBC, it turned out that the two two of the identification documents submitted, which were supposedly driver's license, were not issued by the LTO. So these are fake documents.
All right. So there's no person who opened the account,
Okay.
Mr.
Can
Senator.
AMLA order anybody to open their accounts? Under present existing laws.
Ms. Abad, there's a question. Can AMLA open their account? Order anyone to open their account?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't get the question.
Can AMLA disclose those accounts or open those accounts without an authority of the courts?
Your Honor, under Section 11
Okay.
of RA 9160, the AMLAC may inquire into any particular bank deposit, which is an express exception to RA 1405, Your Honor.
Yeah, but can you open them to the public knowledge?
Well, Your Honor, we did that. We gathered those evidence or those documents in the course of our investigation, and I think the matter of this, I mean, this investigation, the Senate inquiry, pertains to our our investigation. So I think I am justified in sharing this information with this honorable body, Your Honor.
If that is so, if AMLA can do that, then as an agency of the government, perform your powers and present it to Congress instead of compelling the bank to do it. Now, can you present them now to the...
Senator Osmena?
My concern, Mr. Senator, is that no matter which way you look at it, there is no legal person who opened these accounts.
That is,
and we cannot treat these accounts like they were opened by people who really exist and who signed the signature cards.
But that is an opinion. Whether that will be sustained by the courts is something else. That is the opinion of a member of this House.
Well, in
But
the
we are
Jose
comparing
Velarde
a
account,
bank
in the Jose
who has a
Velarde account,
responsibility
Mr.
to its
Senator,
depositors.
there's no depositor.
Well, any depositor, if they can do that to a person who opened an account, even if we suspect that he is a crook, then what is this trust and confidence of the public in that bank?
Mr. Chairman, can I pursue a motion?
Senator Koko?
I am not swayed with the contrary opinion. I have my own reading of the law. I believe if it's a fictitious account, it has no right to be protected under the law on bank secrecy. That's my opinion. So I'm reiterating my motion.
Before the committee decides,
Senator
Mr. Chair,
Angara.
I'd just like to elicit or ask our colleague what information, Mr. Chair, is sought to be elicited. And as a practical matter, would it not be possible for the AMLAC to provide that information about the accounts? Would the AMLAC, what information are we asking RCBC for specifically?
All of the account opening forms for the 5 accounts, so we can take a look at them, look at the documents submitted. Some are probably government-issued IDs, and find out whether these are LTO authorized IDs or completely fake IDs, etc. We don't know, Mr. Chairman, what conclusions or what information we can get from these documents. What is important is that they be before us so that we can study them. Just as we didn't know that the appearance of Kim Wong today would yield $4.63 million. We never knew that, so we don't know. So,
Mr. Chair, can we ask if RCBC forwarded such information to AMLAC? Because there's more than one way to skin a cat. And if we can get this information from AMLAC, then, because I can understand the dilemma of the bank, because there's such a thing as bank runs, there's such a thing as criminal sanctions under...
Criminal sanctions on the officers.
Yes, so
Yes, Attorney Macel.
have you given those in your report?
Yes, Your
You've
Honor.
filed numerous. How many reports have you filed?
Numerous. We filed all the...
So are those details in the...
Yes, and we can submit everything to the AMLC pursuant to the open examination.
So I leave it to the committee, Mr. Chair, but as a practical matter, if we can get that information via the AMLAC, then I propose that route.
Is this information already with you, Miss Julia Bacayabad?
Yes, Your Honor. All the customer identification documents that were supposedly submitted by the account holders are already with the AMLC, Your Honor.
Okay. So,
Plus the transaction history of the 5, everything with you?
verbal response, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
1 minute suspension. We have the information and that they're willing to give us the information. Senator Koko Pimentel?
Well, accepting the wisdom of the youngest senator present this afternoon, Mr. Chairman, I'm willing to suspend my motion. Okay, I'm not abandoning my motion. We can confront this issue again in the future, because we sincerely believe, or I sincerely believe, that a fictitious account already determined by the bank as fictitious is not entitled to any protection, much more the very, very strict protection by the law on secrecy of bank deposits. So I'm willing to suspend my motion, await the submission of the AMLC of all of the account opening forms of the 5 accounts I mentioned, plus transaction history, plus everything related to the 5 accounts, and subject to completeness of the submission. If should I find them complete, then I will no longer push for my motion. But if the documents are not complete, then we will have to get from RCBC the missing accounts. Should there be missing documents? Should there be any?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Ms. Abad.
Just to make it off record that these documents that we have obtained in the course of our bank inquiry, these have been attached to the criminal complaint that we already filed with the DOJ. So as far as these documents are concerned, these are already of public record. These are already public.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay then, confrontation avoided.